So a lot of people don't know this, but I actually went to school for TV before I dropped out 2 times from college. The first time I went to college, I went to school for music. The second time, I started a community college. I majored in television. I transferred to a 4-year that was also in television, but then I dropped out again. But anyways, so this has been a medium that I've been focused on for quite some time, and at least as far as like American television is going, I think we are finally seeing the final dying breaths here. But it's kind of weird because the death of television has basically been the Ottoman Empire at this point. It's been the slow dying man of Europe for centuries. We've all known that this medium is going to come to an end. But we're really seeing it right now. That's really what I don't see anyone really talking about this, which is why I want to talk about this on my main channel. This is a channel that I like to talk about slightly other topics other than the history stuff that I usually talk about. And I don't see people really seeing it as much as I'm seeing this right now. This is it. Now, this is just my opinion, but basically since 2016 was like the slow death of television in terms of cable or whatever you want to say. I saw it back then. I was ground level. I've been doing YouTube for like, I started my first YouTube account in 2007. So it's actually going to be 20 years since I created that account very soon. So I've been doing YouTube this whole time. I've only really watched a lot of YouTube. I stopped watching TV pretty much since I found YouTube all those years ago. But so we've slowly been seeing the death of television, and I have benefited immensely from that medium, losing advertisers and slowly coming over to the internet. And I really felt the impact of that probably in like 2018, 2019, definitely 2020, where you could finally see advertisers were pulling their ad dollars out of TV because the internet is just better, period. If I'm an advertiser, I want the data. I want to know for a fact that my product is being put in front of the eyes of the people that I want to see it. I don't know who's watching Sheldon, whatever that is, the Sheldon show on CBS at 8 p.m. I mean, we can kind of see demographics, we can see their age, but do you know how much information the advertisers can get now by doing online ads? Like, they know for a fact who these people are, their gender, their interests, their age, their so many things. There's way too much data, and that's a whole other topic of conversation, that they just know too much. But advertisers finally figured that out completely, and they're just pretty much all in on online now. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because the Late Show is being canceled now with Stephen Colbert. Late night television shows have been iconic in like American culture for like the entire second half of the 20th century. Obviously, Johnny Carson is a big one that steps out, but with the Late Show going down, then this guy, first of all, I'm gonna share a couple of opinions because I think a lot of things are going out, being thrown around right now. There's like Trump versus the Late Show. There's a lot of theories that like Trump got the Late Show canceled, got Stephen Colbert fired. First of all, I don't know what is going on, but I can tell you something right now for a fact. They're not making much money from that anymore. There's just no way. Their ratings literally dips every single year. It gets lower and lower and lower. That's just a reality that I'm sure, like, I'm not saying the Trump thing didn't happen. I mean, we don't know for sure, but at the end of the day, a truth is that, no one's really watching that stuff anymore. Like, every year that goes by, it gets worse and worse for TV. This blow, I think, is a symbolic blow to the end. I'm not saying TV is going to be dead, but it's just basically dead. It's going to be a corpse, like a walking corpse, and it'll probably remain for quite some time, but it's going to be like, this is going to sound crazy, like Pluto TV or like those free internet TVs. I think TV, like real life cable television, just turns into that. It's going to turn exactly into that at this point. This is because now it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. I saw it back in 2016. In 2016, when Trump got elected the first time, there was kind of this revitalism. The TV kind of got briefly a breath of fresh air back in it, because they finally had something to do again. They finally got to talk about something. And every single night, it was just what Trump was doing in his first term. And people were locked in. I mean, there were all these shows that popped up that were just like basically talking about Trump for 4 years. And that obviously ran its course pretty quickly. Obviously, Trump doesn't win re-election in 2020. COVID happens, which I think maybe extends their life a little bit longer. But if you look back at all those shows back in like 2016, they're like all gone. Well, now with Stephen Colbert gone, but like all the shows that had popped up. What are the news? It's getting kind of scary with like some of the news organizations that are like MSNBC is theorized to get shut down. It's crazy. And here's the thing: the other reason why I wanted to talk about Stephen Colbert's, I don't even watch him, to be quite honest with you, but I still have known about it. His clips on YouTube have been very famous for quite some time. He's gonna be fine. That dude is gonna basically, I think, in my opinion, just be Conan. He's going to go out, he's going to start a little podcast, he's going to start his YouTube channel. He's going to be huge online. And I think that is only going to really ramp up the people that might still have a show, Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. If they want to continue, they can go the Conan route. They can start their own online business. They're going to be fine. They're going to be rich. They're going to continue to be millionaires. But it's funny, like I know I'm making this topic. I don't think anyone's going to really care, to be quite honest. Like I'm an in-between kind of guy. Like, you know, that's how they describe the millennials. We were this half generation, this half generation of cringe, where like, you know, we grew up in whatever, the 90s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, before the internet completely took over. And then the second half of our lives have just been pretty much on the internet. Whereas Gen Z only really know the age of online and things like that. So I already know, like, not a lot of people are really going to care about this video that I'm making, but even I can, I guess it's the beginning half of my life where I'm like, whoa, this is finally over. I mean, for years now, the only reason why American TV is popular still is because of live sporting events. Once you take that out, it's over. Like, look at even the Oscars and the Emmys, all these famous award shows that back in, like, the early 2000s were getting, like, crazy viewers, like 16 million views, probably more than that, to be honest, depending on the year, maybe around there. Even back then, like, award shows were getting big. Now award shows just continue to plummet. They literally have to have host the show to just roast everyone in attendance to get views up. That's the only way. I'm thinking of the ESPYs with Shane Gillis. That's the only way to get, like, make sure like clips go viral online. So it's just live television that keeps TV alive, and I've been begging for the death of this for this moment. As someone that loves like football, especially college football, please give me a streaming service for that. Get it off TV. It's so gross how live television, and it doesn't matter what sport you love watching, whether it's hockey or baseball or basketball, it's like half advertisements now, and it's been worse and worse and worse. Every single year, they're just throwing as many advertisements they can in between every single commercial break. It's just, we need a streaming service. Get rid of all this crap. It sucks because they've signed like year-long deals. I think like the NFL is going to continue to do this until the 2030s. But like I said, I think the TV just becomes like Pluto TV. It becomes like free internet TV. You know what's also funny is back in my television days, I remember like back when I was studying TV in university, we had called like we were having discussions every single day about the problem with streaming, and how TV was weirdly a better format because at least it was just one subscription that all you needed. And now as the streaming services continue to get more and more and more expensive, my professor at the time, he was absolutely right. I mean, he called this like 12 years ago, but we've known this for, I would say, like 5. I think the public has kind of seen what's going on for 5 years. But back in 2013, he's telling everyone, like, honestly, people are going to miss TV at some point because of all the different streaming services that they're going to have to get. And then once streaming service does take over, they're only going to raise the prices. And what are they doing? What is Netflix doing every single year? Disney Plus, Amazon Prime. I mean, part of that is just due to inflation. They're raising the prices. But I cannot believe I don't have any streaming subscriptions. I don't. I don't actually subscribe to anything. I will borrow some other people's, but whenever I look up the price for like Netflix now, I'm like, holy crap, this is getting crazy. And then there's like the ad services. You know, like you can watch it with ads now, or you could pay extra to not watch it with ads. This is literally just TV, but worse. The situation that we're dealing with now. Now, to be fair, if you have like a TV subscription, it's expensive as hell. There's no reason why it should still be that expensive. It's because they're just dying, and they need as much money as they can get. But yeah, once TV goes fully 100%, probably by 2030, those streaming services are just going to cost way too much. And funny enough, it's all Netflix anyways. Netflix won. The streaming wars is over. Netflix has won the battle. You know, maybe 5 years ago we weren't sure when Disney Plus came out, and then there was like Paramount. What else is there? Fubu. I don't even know what the heck there is anymore. But judging by Netflix's stock price, because I bought Netflix when it was down too, it's been everyone has just dictated. Yeah, this Netflix is number one. Their stock price is over $1,000, like absolute insanity. So Netflix is basically the new TV now, and they are going to take over, and they have the advertisers in their corner and everything like that. Now, maybe this doesn't expand to like a world thing. Maybe this exclusively is an American phenomenon where TV is essentially dead. I'm not sure how TV does in the rest of the world. For example, the only thing I can really think of, look at mall culture. Mall culture dead in the USA. But whenever I travel internationally, it is still more alive than ever. In pretty much every other country, whether I go to Asia or Europe, it is still dominating. So maybe this still happens. Maybe people can let me know in the comment section down below how TV is doing in Europe and in Asia or whatever country you're coming from. I think it's really going to depend. I think it's going to partially depend on how much older your generation is. You know, like how old your average age is. Because as far as the U.S. goes, it's only really old people that are still watching TV. The younger generation did not do that. I remember when I moved into my first apartment, you could tell, and that was like 2017. I was their first, for that customer, for that unit itself, I had to have been that first customer that cut the cord. And because they were calling me like every week to get me on some sort of cable package. And I'm like, bro, I'm not going to do it. I don't watch TV. That's kind of weird looking back on it, because I thought 2017, like where things were going were obvious, but it was clear that the unit before me had TV. The unit like the previous tenants had TV. The tenants definitely before that for sure had TV. So I was the first one more than likely, and that's why they were so aggressively coming after me. Nowadays, with Gen Z, renting, millennials all over the place. Millennials are probably, most of them are like me where they don't have TV. It's just like a given, which is why internet prices are just going up more and more. I know someone that's paying $120 for their internet. That's insane. And it's not even 1 gig up, 1 gig down. That's just how it is. The internet companies are just like, all right, well, if you don't want TV, we'll just jack up the internet prices. It's all good. They all find a way. Anyways, yeah. And then there's South Park that's apparently going. That would be crazy if South Park. There's rumors that could have problems, because we're on the subject of Paramount. But yeah, I mean, I don't even live too far from the Paramount studios anymore, since I live in LA. I'm not that far away from the Paramount stuff. So it just feels like at the end of the day, there's what is it called again? There's a word for this, but the monoculture thing is just over, of the 80s, 90s, even the 2000s. Because it's not a TV thing. We're witnessing something really weird in movies as well. Movies are like, oh, it's so sad to see the state of movies, whatever they're dealing with right now. Movie revenue never recovered from 2019 levels. It's like TV killed movies, YouTube killed TV, TikTok killed YouTube. I don't even know what is going to kill, what's the next thing going to be, but everyone's just in their own little spheres at this point, and it's going to be rare that there'll probably be pop-up things like Love Island, which I did not watch, but massive cultural phenomenons that will continue to be a thing in all the different mediums, but just the rate at which we get them are going to be less and less. So anyways, just an interesting conversation I wanted to have today. See you.